Again, Broncos country.
Really excited to chop up some Broncos with you all this week.
Bourbon, Broncos, and no BS.
Favorite time of the week. We're not for the Raiders, Chargers, or Chiefs. So grab your brews in your fantasy league. We got that blue and orange blood that you bleed. The most loyal fans there ever could be. We are that mile high Broncos country.
Orange Weekly. Fans, brews, and Broncos news. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Bourbon, Broncos, and no BS here at Orange Weekly. My name is Kev Dan, and I have two awesome hosts as always, Jared and David. Gents, how you both doing tonight?
What is up, Kev? How you doing?
I'll tell you what.
Jared has nothing to say.
After this last game, burn it all down. It was a failure. The experiment didn't work. Fire Hackett. George Payton might as well just resign.
David, how are you doing today? Is this just one of those great days to be alive, huh?
Yeah,
just
nice
one of those Tuesdays.
It's nice out, Jared. I'll tell you what, the weather has been kind of nice this week. It hasn't been like 90s every day this week so far yet. I know it's only Tuesday, but I'm feeling good. Fall's coming. That means that football season is coming. I want to take that opportunity to remind everybody that August is not real football season.
Oh,
we're not in football season.
No. So everything that you see in August on a football field, it doesn't count. It's not. There's nothing.
I'm gonna reel it back a little bit. Then
why don't we take some takes back just a notch? That's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll give it one more week.
Just one more. Actually, you may. So if you give it one more week, Kev, you and I will actually be live to see the results of that in person. Yes. As we're going to the Minnesota at Denver preseason game this upcoming week, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But let's we have to talk about 42-15, right? I mean, it sucks. It's a crappy thing to see in a box score, and that's about as much as you have to say about it because it's preseason.
Let me put it this way. This may be an extreme example, but I actually sat there probably about halfway through the third quarter and just thinking to myself, this feels like the Broncos of old, like what we're used to from the last 6 years. And thinking about it, that was our twos against their ones. That was our threes against their twos. You know what I mean? Like we were playing to their upper level pretty much the whole game, especially at the beginning. So the fact that we were able to go out there and, move the ball well, there were a lot of mistakes and correctable, coachable stuff. If you listen to Hackett's presser from today, but I wasn't like phased by it because I'm used to this feeling of this sucks, but but what, we were, if that was our ones against their ones, okay, that's a different story, but that's not even the case here.
Yeah, I mean, they couldn't get a lot going on offense, which is frustrating to see. Like you said, it's kind of like those 3 and outs are rough, and Johnson had a little bit rougher day than he had the game before. But apparently Rippon came in and played better than him. But again, there's another theory that I kind of have to debunk a little bit is Rippon should not be our second string. I think Josh Johnson's playing very well at the second string, was playing against ones. While Rippon played great against the threes and twos. Exactly. Look at the game before that. Johnson was putting stuff on the dime. Look, the ceiling for a backup is pretty low, unfortunately. At backup quarterback. And will we win maybe a couple games out of 4 if Russ goes down? Maybe. But it's that's probably the one piece of the puzzle that I don't think that there's a plan for. I think they're pretty happy with Josh Johnson. I don't think they're trying to pull in anybody, and that's the unfortunate part.
I'll push back just a little. I don't know. Jared, you may be right, but I think you're in the minority opinion just as far as whether or not Johnson has been outplaying Rippon through training camp. And I think there's a little bit more of a mixed opinion on that, just as far as people who have been there. So I would not be surprised if Brett Rippon plays better than Josh Johnson in the Minnesota game. And it was announced today he will be starting the Minnesota game. I think there, I think there's a pretty good chance if he outplays Johnson 2 times in a row, he might get that number 2 job. We'll see. Anything can happen, but yeah, I'm gonna.
Who was the guy from Northern Colorado that played in our preseason games and lit everybody up?
Slaughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It brings memories back of him. He plays great in preseason against 2s and 3s.
Listen,
they didn't see it in the regular game. He's been bouncing around the league a little bit. He hasn't gotten a chance, but
I'm not disagreeing with you that if Russ goes down, either one of these quarterbacks is not going to win us. Like, our season's done at that point. You're effed if Russ goes down either way. And at this point, I just think that's going to be true. Like you said, Jared, there's not a plan to improve there. That's going to be true. And it's going to be true even if they went out and got another backup quarterback. Like if they went out and traded for somebody like Trevor Siemian or something like that, it's still not going to affect the bottom line if you lose Russell Wilson this season, I don't think. Yeah. So, yeah, it may not matter really either way, but I would not be shocked to see it be Brett Rippon at that number 2 position when it's all said and done.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, guys. Really appreciate it, Savage.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming on, Sev.
Rob, Russ better not go down at all. Let's just leave it at that.
Right.
Small potatoes, guys. Let's not panic. I have faith in everything Peyton has put in place. We'll be okay. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just you're seeing some people, just complaining and freaking out. I don't know how many times you have to give the example of the Lions just a few years ago, 4-0 in preseason and 0-16 in the regular season. Like it doesn't matter. So,
I will say this though.
Say it.
Okay. Say it. Yeah.
If Russ goes down for whatever reason, and we don't see a Javonte Williams, Melvin Gordon hybrid Wildcat offense of some sort, I'm gonna be disappointed.
I would agree with that. That.
Okay.
Yeah,
Justin,
Melvin Gordon at quarterback, Javonte Williams there right next to him. Let's do it.
Wow, we're just leaving Kendall Hinton out in the cold, huh?
Yeah, I would expect that. We would.
It's fine.
Hall
of Fame quarterback Kendall Hinton is going to be is just not
for those of you who watched that New Orleans game.
That's fine. We all watched
we will have just as much success.
All right.
One reception.
You don't have
one completion.
You don't have.
We all watched.
Yeah, we were all
That's
there.
Something
okay.
We all experienced together because
we have a group traumatic memory.
I still love. I love Kendall Hinton. Just quarterback wasn't his spot, man.
You know what? You know what I would say.
You will put respect on the name of Hall of Fame quarterback. I'm sorry, Ken. Yes. Go ahead.
No, you know what I'm going to say. Any Broncos fan out there who decided to not watch that game, maybe because it's going to be a crappy game, or I'm mad at the NFL for making us play this game, whatever reason, if you miss that game, go back and watch it, just because it is going to be an iconic moment in Broncos history, 50, 60, 70. I mean, this is going to be something people are always going to talk about.
For good and bad reasons.
But to understand the love for Kendall Hinton and just really connect with that, I mean, you got to go watch that game and just see the fact that he went out there in just a few days' notice. Anyway,
reminiscing. Never gave up. Not once did he give up. Not once did he get down on him. Like, it was cool. Mm-hmm. It was great.
Yeah. Anyway. So, hey, so let's not focus on the score of the game and all that crap, but we can do either cuts first or good news on injuries first. What do you guys want to do?
Let's do good news on injuries first.
Good news on injuries first. Okay, so we got Gregory was at practice today, as was wide receiver ACL from last year.
KJ Hamler.
Yes, Hamler. Yep, he was out there. So they're looking good. Billy Turner apparently did not have any setbacks. He is on track to start in week 1. But that's as vague as Coach Hackett was going to give us. So, especially on that right tackle side, you see what we've been looking at from Calvin Anderson, especially from, this last game for sure. We kind of need Billy Turner in that position.
Did he play? Did Calvin Anderson play?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I am glad to see Billy Turner back in. I think he raises the floor of the tackle room significantly. Yeah, it's good to have him back. Randy Gregory, they've been really, really careful with him, but it sounds like he'll be back in time for the regular season. Excited about that. Hackett really had some kind words for KJ Hamler, just as far as not only his physical recovery, but how well he's learned the offense, how he's worked really, really hard to be one of the most consistent guys out there as far as knowing where he's supposed to be and when he's supposed to be there. So yeah, it's good to hear that, and that specifically will get him on Russell Wilson's good side too, just because he's that kind of quarterback who values that kind of preparation.
Yeah. Hey, really quickly here, Brad, I don't want to skip your comment. Maybe if we kept Locke as backup, just saying, or the Russell trade may not have happened. Yeah. So that trade was not going to happen if we weren't going to give up Locke. So,
well, and it probably wouldn't have, but even if it had, I think that when you do that to a guy like Drew Lock, who in his mind wants to compete as a starter in the NFL,
right.
It's not conducive to a working relationship anymore. Like there's right. Just from the Broncos perspective, maybe you can make a case for him being a competent backup quarterback for you, but you just can't justify keeping him in your organization, keeping him in your building. It's not good for you or for him at that point.
Facebook user, we don't know what your name is, unfortunately, because of the program here, but is it Von Miller on the Bills now? Yes, he is. This is his first year on the Bills. So good luck to him out there. Maybe he can be the first player to get 3 Super Bowl rings with 3 different teams.
That would certainly be interesting.
Yes,
that would be. And he's on a team that's competing. Let's be honest. Bills are in contention for that talk for the Super Bowl run. It was cool to see. Not for nothing. It was cool to see all the videos of old Bronco players messing around with Von, and Brandon McManus and Von Miller are best friends. And seeing them messing around and talk, it was kind of cool to see him just kind of like be back in his old self. It was nice.
Absolutely.
Hey, Justin, appreciate the stars. Doesn't show us how many, but definitely appreciate the support. Thanks for sending those our way, man.
Justin, let's ride.
Yeah, let's ride. Jared, what do you think about the injury front? Like what's going on in your noggin?
So I'm mostly thinking on the offensive side, and getting KJ Hamler back, I think, is going to be huge for our offense, and I think it's going to be huge for Russ. And it's unfortunate that he's been out for so long because Russ hasn't been able to get the timing with him. But I'm excited to see if he comes back. I don't think he's playing for this next game, right? He's not going to be suiting up. I know he's he's back in practice and running around, but I don't think he's playing for this upcoming Minnesota game. I'll be interested to see where he falls into the depth chart once they cut down to 73. That's basically because that wide receiver, everyone's been playing pretty well. So when we next week when we talk and we're getting on here and we're talking about where we think the Broncos are going to be, because when's final cut date? I didn't look it up.
The 30th, week from now.
Yep.
Yeah. So I guess we'll know by next Tuesday. So let's talk about it now. Who do you think is missing out of that wide receiver room? Jalen Virgil, Brandon Johnson, Trey Quinn, Montreal Washington, Tyree Cleveland.
Oh, and Quinn got cut. Quinn got cut today.
Gone. Yeah. Quinn did get cut today. Okay, good.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, not good, but
right. No, good to know. But you're still, because you're right, Jared. Even if they keep 7 receivers, you've already got Sutton, Judy, Hamler. Mm-hmm. Washington is a lock to make the team.
Washington locked it in at least as a special teams guy. He's playing that Deontay Spencer role
easily,
absolutely.
If not the fourth wide receiver, but yeah,
right. Brandon Johnson also locked up his spot. That's a definite. As far as I'm concerned, yeah, absolutely. So you've got
over Seth Williams.
Over Seth Williams, I think so. You've got 5 right there, and you've got at maximum, I think 2 positions left for Seth Williams, Tyree Cleveland, Jalen Virgil, and Kendall Hinton. And that, we're this time next week, we're going to be talking about some heartbreaking cuts from that room.
Yep.
It is just so stacked in there right now.
Some other team is waiting, just waiting for that day so they can pick off one or two of those guys that we have to release.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Now, I was going to – go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to talk really quickly. Jared, you and I need to have a moment here. ILB bros, big cut from the ILB room today. Guy we signed last week. Yeah. What do you think, man?
We cut an inside linebacker. I wouldn't be surprised if we go into the whole season without an inside linebacker. Just none. Let's just play with no inside linebacker because that's how much they're worth to the Denver Broncos.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is the rage.
No kicker. Yes.
This is the rage that I wanted from the Joe Schobert cut. This is
yes.
Okay. Good. Yeah.
Joe Schobert. I wasn't not too mad. Right. We know who our top 4 inside linebackers are going to be. And that's really who it's going to be. Kind of playing on the Alex Singleton piece, but Josie Jewell, Jonas Griffith, and Justin Strnad have got to kind of lock that inside linebacker position. I do wish we had a couple more guys there.
And this does at least, I think, signal some more good injury news, just in that Jonas Griffith, it sounds like, will probably be back a little earlier as opposed to later from that. I think it was a fractured kneecap. But maybe he'll be even ready for the series opener, if not probably for week 2. And so they figured, based on what they saw from Schobert in the Bills game, they didn't really need.
And it wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty at all.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Yeah, run defense and run offense. Really, that's got to improve on those things. I have no doubt they will improve when the starters are in there, but that's what's got to look better. That's all.
Hey, David, you know who's super important to those plays?
Well, in this particular
just one specific position
in this particular defensive scheme, Jared, it's the defensive
interior
line.
run defense.
It's the defensive line that really the linebackers are
super important.
Right? You're not going to be playing in the base defense a whole lot.
That we have
the 2 inside linebackers defense that you're envisioning that is
good
stopping all these runs. It just doesn't exist.
It just doesn't exist.
Someone's got to fill the gap, and if we don't got the inside linebackers to fill the gap,
okay. Yeah,
I don't know
that inside crap, huh? Yeah, they're gonna bring it. They're gonna bring that inside crap at you.
The inside crap. It's all about the inside crap.
Oh man. What else? Who other names got cut today?
So we had Trey Quinn, as we said, Joe Schobert. Running back Stevie Scott also did not play well against the Bills. And then Casey Tucker was waived with an injury designation. So those were the 4 cuts. They also put Tom Compton on the PUP list. So he'll start the season on the PUP list. He was a guy we brought over for tackle depth, especially at that right tackle position from San Francisco. But it doesn't sound like he will be ready to go.
Can we talk for a minute how the NFL just completely got rid of like the whole PUP designation as a whole? Are you guys tracking this?
No. So you go for it.
Yeah. So the PUP designation used to be like a temporary short-term thing. Well, they expanded it out to 4 games. Well, with COVID and everything else, they brought down IR down to 3. So you could put someone on IR and only have them out for 3 games. Is it 3 or 4?
No,
So it's 3. So if you put someone on the IR, they only have to physically be out for 3 years. If you put someone 3 games, 3 weeks, you put someone on PUP, they have to be out for 4 weeks. So basically just got rid of the whole PUP designation, where it used to be the PUP was the short term, like 3 to 4 weeks, and then IR was 6. And since they pulled that down, pushed PUP out, and they're kind of switching roles, and I don't understand it. I don't get it. People aren't going to use the PUP list anymore. I don't understand what you could use. Here's the one thing: you could put anybody on PUP or IR before preseason. It's the day that you cut down to 73 that you put those names on that paper to start the timing on everything. But man, it's frustrating.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. I'm honestly surprised the fact that they got rid of all the other COVID stuff this year, that they didn't revert that IR rule back to the way it was, or at least without adjusting some other thing like the PUP.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Justin, what happened to our punter, Sam Martin? They did mention it briefly right before the game. He hurt himself during the pregame warmups. Probably just, it didn't sound like it was anything major. I mean, they didn't mention it again.
Ankle tweak, and he'll be ready to go for week 1. So yeah. I don't know exactly what he did, but it was, bad enough that they didn't want to exacerbate it with a day of punting.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
In preseason.
In preseason. Yeah,
this is true.
All right.
Hey, you know what? Speaking of changes the NFL makes every year, I'm going to use that for a little segue here. For anybody who's not tracking, the main rules that the NFL is going to enforce this year, you've probably seen it in some of these games, is illegal contact. Do you guys think is that one of the big things that you are happy they're watching, or anything else? Or I mean,
it'll be one
of
of the
conversational piece at this point, but
it'll be one of the things that I'm happy that they're watching when it gets called against the team we're playing.
Right.
I'll be upset about it when it gets called against Denver, and I will see the two things completely differently depending on who it's getting called on.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Refresh my memory on illegal contact, like downfield?
Downfield, yeah.
So you're talking about like away from the play, some like kind of like a holding, or like I don't think I quite understand.
Like offensive lineman like down the field, like I think it's like 5 yards past the line of scrimmage or something like that.
Yeah, but it's illegal man downfield. There's already a.
No. Illegal contact gets called on the defense. Illegal man downfield gets called on the offense, Jared.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm. So it's a defensive call for illegal contact.
It's another one of. It's in the family of pass interference and holding.
Okay, but it's not. It could be where the ball's not going. Is that what you're saying?
Right. Mm-hmm. Yep. Within. Let's see.
Justin's got us.
All right, Justin's got us. Okay, no contact.
Know what you got. Know what you got.
Yeah. So I'm on the NFL's rules website. Article 1, legal contact within 5. Or let's go to Article 2, illegal contact within 5 yards. Within the 5 yard zone. All right, and I'm just gonna.
Sorry, no, go. Just go. I was paying attention. I was totally paying attention, David.
No, it's great. Let's see. A defender
and then when this is on the test, Jared cheats on you to get the answer.
That's right. No, that's exactly how it's going to happen. And
100%.
A couple of times I'm going to feed him the wrong answer and then change it after just so that he gets an F, but not every time. Let's see. If a player who receives the snap remains in the pocket with the ball, the defender cannot initiate contact with a receiver who is attempting to evade him. A defender may use his hands or arms only to defend or protect himself against impending contact caused by a receiver. So there you have it. It was kind of already a penalty. They're just putting more emphasis on it. Is that what they're saying? Right. It's
like no more trying to body and get into people's way purposely to try to throw them off their route after 5 yards.
Right. It's the new. They're cycling through these penalties that they're putting an emphasis on. They did, pass interference one year, and then roughing the passer last year, and now it's going to be illegal contact this year.
The unsportsmanlike
conduct, too. So taunting. So it's just the next thing.
Okay. So I have my viewpoint now on that. We've cleared this up. My viewpoint on this is it's going to be really frustrating when it has nothing to do with the play.
Yeah.
Right. So if there's a penalty called on, like, say the ball goes to Cortland Sutton and KJ Hamler's on the left side and he gets hit, 10 yards downfield into his route and it throws him off, but Cortland Sutton misses a pass. Again, I'd be more mad if it was the other team, but if Cortland Sutton misses a pass on the other side, it has nothing to do with that side and there's still a penalty thrown, I'm going to be kind of mad. I'm not going to lie. They need to focus on where the play's going, where the ball's going. Unless it's part of Russ's, like, progression, right downfield, and he gets really mad because like, dude, I was going to throw to that guy. I just don't understand it. Anyways, this might be also one of those things that they focus on during the preseason, and then we never talk about it again.
Yeah. Could be.
Definitely could be.
I mean, we were hoping that was what it was going to be like with the unsportsmanlike, for what's the phrase? The celebrating and whatever.
Oh, taunting.
Yeah, taunting. That's the one. God damn it. And that one they wouldn't let go. So
yeah.
Anyway,
well, they brought it back. You can start celebrating again.
Yeah, but
of.
still,
you can't. I mean, you can't pull out a pen out of the end zone and sign a ball to give to somebody. But
that one was fun. Hey, Anthony, we know what this means. We got some more stars, guys. Anthony, really appreciate it. Appreciate the support. You're great, man. Thanks for being here.
Jared, did you just point to yourself with two thumbs when he said stars? Oh, I see it now. Okay, no, I saw that. I saw you go like this, and I didn't see that.
Yeah,
so I thought
yeah.
When you said,
I assume that he was giving it to me. That's why.
Because you're the star. I see. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
We also have two other announcements. One here at Orange Weekly. We do pride ourselves on putting out at least as the most factual information that we possibly can. Some viewers who watched our last trivia show may have been misled to believe that the official colors for the Broncos were blue, orange, and mustard yellow, when in fact, at the Broncos game on the stadium, the official Broncos trivia showed that the answer was blue, orange, and just yellow. So, they were paying by the apologize. Letter. We do apologize. Jared got that one wrong.
Do we apologize?
He apologized specifically. The points should have been calculated differently. It would not have affected the end outcome. However,
that's good, because I would not accept an asterisk by my final record. I stand by my performance, and that's all there is to it.
No, it looks pretty mustardy to me. Just a little mustardy.
Anyway, also, David is the first salaried employee here at Orange Weekly. He decided to test the free agency market, and we were able to, I think, retain him. So,
well, we'll see about that, Kev. The things are still in the works.
I think you said yes. You kind of implied that it was going to happen.
Contracts haven't been signed. There's still some legal rigmarole. I mean, I don't want to be Emmanuel Sanders to your Kansas City Chiefs in 2014. But if that happens, it happens, and that means if it does, I'll win it. I'll go win a Super Bowl somewhere else. So there's
just so everybody knows, my plan is if I don't have a deal done by season, I'm gonna hold out until I get a deal done. So just giving everybody that heads up.
And yes. Jared will still come on the shows. He just will not say anything the entire time.
Yes.
He'll sit there.
Yeah, I'll just mute myself and be stoic.
So like the very first show we ever did.
Oh dear. Well, Jared used to be a shy, sad boy, but now he's a man.
I can pull that one back up.
Got it. No, I love that. Everybody at Orange Weekly loves that clip. It's amazing.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, keep an eye out for. I'm going to be starting a column this week, guys. The View from Section 506. It's just a fan's perspective on the games. What happened? What didn't? It's not going to be a lot of advanced stats or BS. It's just going to be what we saw or what we didn't see and what we want to see next week. That's all. And so hopefully that will be coming soon to a screen near you.
Yeah. It's gonna be awesome.
I mean, it'll be all right.
Okay. It's gonna be awesome.
Way to talk yourself up, David. That was great.
Listen, it's the only written,
just awesome.
It's the only written content you guys are gonna get from us this season, so you'll like it whether it's awesome or not. How about that? Better? Is that better, guys?
That is.
Yes, got it. Nailed it. Selling the crap out of this one.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Hey, okay, so I think we kind of covered everything up to today. Jared left us, so David, start focusing on next week. Vikings are coming to town. David and I will be at the game, so anybody who's going to the game, come tailgate with us at the Flagman's tailgate in the back of section of Lot C. Can't miss it. There's like 50 flags all in one location. That's the place. Come down, say hi, tailgate with us. But yeah, we'll be at the game. I mean, what are you looking for in this last game? Probably one of the highlights that people are talking about is with Rippon starting, what that kind of means and what he kind of needs to do to put himself back on track. But yeah, man, what do you think?
I think, Rippon obviously, like you said, Jared's got his abacus now. This
Justin,
cannot be
no.
good. No,
We're not.
No, we're not. The starters will not play. I would, there were a couple of like Quinn Miners, Alberto got some snaps in the Bills game. I would be surprised to see even that much level of participation for the starters. Better performance all around, Anthony, I think is a good way to start.
Can't do much worse.
No, right. Yeah, Brett Rippon is the only one who led a scoring drive in this game. Josh Johnson is the only one who led a scoring drive, I believe, in the first game. So you've got to see more production just throughout the game. Let's start there. Play four full quarters, get the running game established. That would be one thing I'm really, really going to be looking to see. Can the offense get any kind of rhythm with the run game?
I like it.
Yeah.
Jared, what about you, man?
I'm looking forward to see how the football moves from one side of the field to the other because it's preseason and it doesn't matter. And here's what I'm looking for, honestly, and it's the whole thing about preseason. Looking at some of those close cuts. We just talked about the wide receivers. We talked about who's going to make that wide receiver room. I want to see guys like, I think earlier we talked about, we think Tyree Cleveland might not make it. He's been a long time Bronco. He's been bouncing back and forth between practice squad. He's been on the Broncos for a long time. Maybe he comes out and lights it up, and now it makes an interesting conversation for who they have to cut. I want to see some of these guys, like, really, what we saw in the Buffalo game is somebody that is, there's a lot of people that probably won't make the team. I want to see a really good game where everyone is wanting to make the team, and we all of a sudden have a super, super hard decision. Not we, but the front office of the Broncos have a super tough decision on how they get to their 73.
Yeah.
You mean 53?
Did I say 73?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At like 6 times.
Yeah. 50.
Anyway, yeah.
Victor is the third star of the show because he is the third person tonight to send us stars. Dude, you are awesome. Thank you for your support. Glad you are here. Hey, everyone, keep the questions coming in. Comments, whatever you guys have, regular season questions, thoughts or whatever. We're here for you all. And, as long as you guys have stuff for us, we'll stick around, at least for a little while. Daniel, how you doing? Good to see you here, man. Glad you are here. Representing Team Puffball tonight. Oof. Yep, there you go.
Yep, and I want to give a shout out to the rest of the Team Puffball members who are here, like Daniel, who just arrived. Welcome, Daniel. We also have Rob here, as always. Thank you, Rob, so much for coming in. We also had another member of Team Puffball, Jerry Wallace, come on earlier. I don't know if he's still with us, but thanks for joining the show earlier, Jerry. And if you're still here, thank you for that as well. Man,
I'm pretty sure Jerry was Team Visor.
Jared, we had this conversation literally 2 weeks ago. And he wasn't Team Visor then, and he's not Team Visor now. You don't have that many members. However, Team Puffball out here staying strong as per usual, representing. Justin has a really good question.
Yes, he does.
Who I just assume because of this great question and intelligent insight is Team Visor. Yes. If everyone stays healthy, who has more yards, Sutton or Judy?
I'm going to go ahead and say Sutton, and I'll tell you why.
Really? Okay.
Yes, I will. Because I think Sutton's strengths as a receiver play more to Russell Wilson's strength as a quarterback, i.e. he wins outside the numbers and he wins deep in contested catch situations especially. Those are – and, Russell Wilson throws a very accurate deep ball, but it makes it all the better when you have a guy like Sutton who can go up and make those tough catches with the receiver draped on him. We saw that camp catch against Ronald Darby. You heard the battles between him and Surtain. I think the chemistry those two have, I think the ways that Sutton wins matches up with what Russ likes to do. That's why I'm going to go with Sutton.
I love this. And I had a decent debate with a Seattle fan earlier. I think Cortland Sutton is the better DK Metcalf, and I think Jerry Jeudy is the better Tyler Lockett. And I think that those skill sets are kind of similar. Tyler Lockett and with the inside a little bit more shifty with the Jerry Jeudy. He's got probably the best feet in the league. And then with the outside stuff with Courtland Sutton, I agree 100% with you, David. I think that's probably where it's going to be. The deep ball is going to be beautiful. Courtland Sutton's going to have a just a ball, but I think you're going to see Jerry Jeudy really have a breakout year this year as well.
Yeah.
I think both those wide receivers are going to have it great. And if KJ Hamler comes back healthy and it opens up the middle over the middle, the deep stuff over the middle, it's going to be a heyday on defenses, and I can't wait for it.
Yeah. No, my only argument for Sutton, I think both spot on, is when we're talking about Sutton having a breakout year, I think that's going to be what's enough to get him, just a ton of yards after reception is what it's going to be, and that's where he's going to make up for it. And I think that could be enough to overcome what Sutton gets, I think it's going to be really close. But I mean, Jerry Jeudy knows that this is a make or break year for him. I think after this, if this is another bust year, he's going to be known around the league as that bust guy that you maybe get a, 4th, 5th, 6th round pick out of him or something, depending on how he does this year. But he's got a lot on the line, I think that's just going to be enough, motivation on top of having Russell Wilson there to push him over the edge. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting either way, but Justin continues the conversation on here really well. Same with Gordon or Williams in rush yards.
I think Williams. I mean, here's a conversation I don't know if we've discussed last week because I wasn't here last week, but the whole Melvin Gordon coming on and saying they want Williams to be the number one, right? And really, I see it. Right, he's our guy going forward, and a lot of people, we didn't even know if Melvin Gordon was going to come back this year. Luckily, we signed him for another year, and we have that two-headed monster in the back. But I think he's right. I think Williams is going to get more touches than Gordon, and I think he's going to have more breakouts than Gordon. And I love Melvin Gordon. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a great running back, and I think he's going to play very, very well for us. But I think Williams is our guy, and I don't think it's just riding the hot hand. I think it's Williams is going to get a chance to be the hot hand. If he can't, then they're going to give Gordon the chance.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, we heard it from Gordon's mouth. They want Javonte to be the guy. And I think it's just so important from a load management perspective, if nothing else, to really split those carries as close to 60-40 as you reasonably can for the output of your offense. So,
right.
I don't think it's going to be a 1,200-yard Javonte season, 500-yard Melvin Gordon season. They're definitely going to be closer together than that. But I do think they want Williams to be the guy in situations that they count on in those big moments. Because right now, he's just put more playmaking tape on out there than Melvin Gordon has. And Melvin Gordon's a real steady, really good running back in this league. Very steady, gives you a good output, basically the same every season. You know what you're going to get from him. But yeah, like Williams is the playmaker. So
yeah.
They're gonna lean into that.
Yeah, I'll tell you this, Justin. If you're asking on the base of fantasy football, on the wide receiver side, I don't think you can go wrong with either one of them. On the running back side, yeah, I'd err towards Williams. I'd err for Javonte over Melvin for sure.
Yeah,
somebody go ahead. Never mind.
No, I don't want to skip some of these comments. I'll come back to them, Dan, Neil, and Brad. But do you think there's a chance that Williams breaks 1,000?
Yeah, I think there's a chance. I mean, I got to pull up the calculator here, but it is not. Jared's got the abacus. Thank you, Jared. Get it?
I got my hibiscus.
Right? Oh, God. So 1,000-yard season, 17 games a season. He needs to hit 58 yards a game over a 17-game season to hit 1,000 yards. Jared, I trust that you on your abacus are pulling up those same numbers.
Yes, approximately. Yes,
excellent,
100.
Excellent. No, 58, Jared, not 100. 58.
Yeah, 158 yards per game. I think I messed something up.
Well, now you have to start over.
This is the best thing I've ever bought. I swear. Best $7 I've spent in my entire life. Anyway.
Well, so while Jared is confirming those numbers, we'll just say that it's pretty likely that Javonte Williams can hit 58 yards a game this season without too much trouble. So I wouldn't see 1,000 yards as a hurdle that he can't meet.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, he's said a couple of times just this week in interviews, he's not thinking about personal goals at all. They're focused on a team goal, and that's to win the Super Bowl.
Yep. And each play.
It's awesome to hear players like our guys say that and then realize like they're not just saying it because it's preseason and everybody has a chance, but like we actually have a chance. Like we're in a window now with Russell Wilson, so it is kind of cool.
I mean, when a guy who's been there comes in and tells you this is what you have to do if you want to do it, it's a little bit different than hearing a coach who's never done it say, this is what we have to do to be champions.
Yeah, exactly. Dan makes a really good point here, and this is good news for everybody. It's a relief to know that for sure, Hackett did confirm today that Sutton should make the team. It might be, that wide receiver room is very, close, but Sutton should be one of the ones that makes it, and Russell Wilson should make the roster cut as well. So, didn't play any preseason games, but he should make it. We'll see.
Per sources.
Other per sources guaranteed make it. Justin Simmons and Pastor Tan.
I'm hearing, absolutely, excellent.
I heard Bradley Chubb also makes the list. Yeah.
Scoop, I think I had never heard that one before. You guys heard that one?
Yeah, got that one. I just got the text. So
came over from the wire. Okay.
Yeah, it came in on the wire. Hot. You heard it here first.
Hot tips. Sources are saying. All right, guys. Let's see. Neil, good question from Neil, comment from Neil, and I think Neil's absolutely right about this, and it's not just because of the opponent. I heard everybody made a big deal about how the offense had a bad week in practice against the defense last week. But most of the reports that I've heard, especially recently, have been that the offense has been doing a lot better. It's going to be, I think, a night and day difference just because of the things that Russell Wilson can do by himself. You're going to see a completely different offense. And, even if the scheme hasn't coalesced, even if everybody isn't on the same page yet to begin the season, I think that factor alone is going to elevate it so much.
Yeah. I mean, you just seen the difference in pace in the preseason games. Seen at practices, they're practicing it. I think you're going to go out. You're definitely going to see that. They're going to do a lot to throw off the opposing defense. And, we have a guy in Russell Wilson now that can command that type of offense and get the team moving. So, hey guys, we are on the big screen. Thank you, Neil. Appreciate it, man. That is fantastic. It's like we're important people or something. You look great.
I mean,
you look great.
I wish you could. Well, you can't grow a beard, so that's fine. Yeah, you're looking. No, yeah, you're looking great, Jared. No. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So on the piece of the offense, the only thing I want to say is, God, I hope so. I just, I mean, I think that's really what the rest of Broncos country is actually thinking, where we definitely are expecting more, but God, we hope that the offense is just a lot more electric this year than we have in the last 4 years. Because it's been difficult being a Broncos fan the last couple of years.
Yeah. Good call.
What's not difficult though?
What's that?
Is downloading the DraftKings Daily Fantasy app to play the NFT game. Yes, that is definitely not difficult. So for all you football fans out there, you can join the next generation of fantasy football with Rainmakers Football, their first ever NFT fantasy game from DraftKings. It's the only NFT fantasy game licensed by the NFLPA, and now you can play all season for millions in prizes by building the ultimate NFT franchise. Right now, everyone can get their first full roster starter pack for free. Playing Rainmakers is simple. You can buy, sell, bid, and win player card NFTs of the biggest names in the game through regular drops and auctions on DraftKings Marketplace. You can also craft lineups of athletes from your NFT collection and earn points for touchdowns, receptions, and more, just like you would in daily fantasy football. So go build your NFT fantasy franchise and enter free Rainmakers football contests all season long to compete for millions in prizes. Here's what you need to do. to get in on this action. The next generation of fantasy sports is here. So download the DraftKings Daily Fantasy app now. Sign up with promo code TPPN. Click the Rainmakers tile and opt in to get your first card free. Plus, play for millions in prizes all football season while building the ultimate NFT fantasy franchise with Rainmakers Football. Again, that is promo code TPPN. Build, play, win only at DraftKings.
We didn't distract you even a little bit in that ad read, and that was good.
That was great.
We were trying.
I didn't have the video up. I had to script.
Oh, okay.
Oh, all right.
Oh,
No,
don't go back and watch it then.
No.
I'm going to now.
All of the credit that I just gave you is revoked. I'm taking it.
But,
Yes.
Yeah, no,
but I've learned to not watch you while I read because it just ends terribly. So
Yes.
Okay.
That's
All right.
smart
okay.
Another question from
Here we
Justin here. It's a boring answer, but I'm stealing it before anybody else can use it, and it's Pat Surtain.
Pat Surtain. Oh.
I said it first. That's all right. One of you still has a really easy answer left, but you have to pick it because
I want to say Justin Simmons. I think he's going to have a great year. Don't get me wrong. I definitely think he's going to have a great year. But you know who I want to have a breakout year? An inside linebacker, Josie Jewell. I think if he could just have a breakout year
of the secondary,
he is part of the secondary when he drops back into coverage. Okay,
This is true.
inside linebackers play coverage too, David. They're people.
Sometimes, of course, they're people. That's not something I was ever disputing. I just
Von
don't
Miller
think
played in
that
the secondary when he dropped back in coverage and stuff.
Yes,
so.
but he wasn't.
Yeah, we misused him a little bit. Yeah, we definitely. He should not have been out there.
He should not have been doing that.
That's not.
Yeah,
relevant.
no, that's definitely who I'm taking.
He had an interception in an AFC Championship game, but sure, all right, let's get into Von Miller. Anyway,
wasn't it batted?
No, it wasn't. Tom Brady just threw it right to him. He had Gronk covered like a blanket. But anyway, let's go back to the defensive secondary a little bit. So if we've all got obvious answers as to who the breakout star or the star will be, who do you guys think?
Player, yeah.
Yes, who do you guys think will be a breakout player in the secondary? Is there somebody who you're thinking as far as a backup or a more unheralded guy is going to emerge really this season?
I mean, I like the fact that we got Kareem Jackson back, but I think Caden Stearns, I want to see him have a breakout season. I think he started to show last year. He started to come out last year and play some really good games, but then there were some games that he struggled a little bit. And I want to see that consistency out of Caden Stearns because we know Kareem Jackson we got on a year-to-year basis at this point, and Caden Stearns is got to be able to step up a little bit and make those plays. So that's why I'm hoping becomes the breakout.
What do you think about PJ Locke?
I think
don't think he's going to see this. I don't think he's going to see the field often unless something happens to Justin Simmons.
See, now I disagree there. I think you're going to see all four safeties get used in a rotation pretty liberally. I think Justin Simmons will be out there more than Kareem Jackson will as far as rotating. But I do think they're going to use all four of those guys. I do think PJ Locke will see the field this year because I think he's made a good impression on the coaches, along with Caden Stearns.
So, David, you made fun of me and my defensive mentality. You're envisioning a 4-safety, no inside linebacker defense.
Yes, that's right. I want to play 4 safeties, no inside linebackers, and
5 down linemen.
Yes, 5 down linemen, but they're all
so it's a 5-0-4 is what you want to play. 5-0-4.
Only 9. We're only playing with 9. We'll also have 2 corners.
Well, you'll have the corners,
2 corners.
Okay, so there's your 11. Yeah.
And all of your defensive linemen will be edge rushers. That's the dream.
Oh, okay. Even the inside guys.
Especially.
They're all just... Yeah, you know what? Just leave the middle open because who cares about the inside run, right?
Well, you basically are going to leave the middle open because the lightest guys are going inside. That's how I want to build.
Okay.
The heaviest edge rush, like Draymond Jones, is going to be at wide 9. And then I want Nick Bonito lined up right over the nose. I want him at the 0 tackle position.
You know what?
Yeah, and he's going to be two gapping too. He's going to be responsible not just for his gap on the left, but
he's playing nose.
Hey.
He's playing nose.
two gapping nose. It's going to be amazing.
After the way he played last week, he probably wouldn't do much worse over there. So just saying.
It was a rough game for the young man.
It was a rough game.
We did see more out of Baron Browning, so
We
that
did?
was pretty. It saw more flashes, yet more evidence that he might actually be pretty good at edge this season.
Yeah. Justin says, sorry, David, but no. Here's my argument for your case, David. The injuries from the defensive side would plummet. There'd be like a 0% injury rate.
Interesting. Yes. Jared, thoughts?
Except for everybody that played that interior line would get demolished.
I don't really see it. Anyway.
I don't either.
Yeah. Okay. So we're moving on from Jared's insanity.
Okay, hey, what do you guys think about this? Let me phrase it this way. How do you think Coach Hackett has done so far?
That's too soon to tell.
I'm not asking for is he a good coach? But just up to this point, what have you seen from him you've liked? Maybe some things that maybe it's too early to tell if that's a good idea yet or not. I just want to reminisce of the fact that we have at least we can tell so far, a much better head coach than we've had in recent history, right? So
I like the accountability that he showed after the loss at Buffalo, just to say that sucked, and we know that it sucked, and it's our fault that it sucked, and we want to do better than that for you.
He acknowledged the fans. He's like, for the fans, we want you to know. That was, I thought, pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's not something I think we would have seen from Vic Fangio. So, yeah, accountability was not really a strong suit of his.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Jared?
I mean, I like his humor. Like the joking about who's going to make the roster. You're right. It's too early to tell. I love coaches and I love offensive coordinators. I love the way every time they come in. If you've been following the show for the past 5 years, I've loved some terrible offensive coordinators in the past when they first start off. Let's be honest. But at the time they came in, they weren't terrible offensive coordinators until they came in and did some terrible things. And, maybe I've been burnt before. And, going on our third coach, our 15th offensive coordinator, I think I lost count. Let me get my hibiscus out. And
that's a flower.
My albatross is down here, and I'll count on it later.
You're not getting any closer.
Oh God.
Yeah. So once I figure out how to work this thing, I'll let you guys know. I don't know. I think maybe I'm just hesitant. It's preseason. We'll see. I mean, he has all the weaponry on offense to be able to make a great offense. And if this offense doesn't show out this year, it's going to be very difficult to keep going. He has every weapon possible at his leisure. So I want to see what he does with it. We just haven't seen it because it's been preseason and we haven't been playing the starters.
Right. So what I think is interesting is just from both of you, and I'm the same way, is how hesitant we all are. Everyone's the same way. We've been burned too many times recently. Our heart's been broken too many times that, we're just not, a lot of people were excited when Vance Joseph signed, was hired. I think people were, hey, he's young, defensive minded. We should be able to go out there and kick ass. And that first game happened and then just went downhill from there. Right. What?
I just have to, and it's going to be weird coming out of my mouth right now, but I feel like we're in such a better place that I can say this. Okay. Vance Joseph has done a lot with not very much as the defensive coordinator of the Arizona Cardinals, which may prove that he was always, like Vic Fangio, intended to be a coordinator, and maybe that's his ceiling in the NFL as a coach. But he's done a very good. Yeah, and he's done it, but another Wade Phillips, exactly. But he's done a really good job with not a whole lot of star pieces out there in Arizona, and so I'm going to give him at least props for that. But you're right. Sure. Yeah, the enthusiasm level was there. I loved Vic Fangio's grumpy old man routine. It woke the grumpy old man inside me. Yes, but it didn't. It was obviously, as Neil said, it didn't resonate with the players much. So that's one thing that if it works for the fans or not, it really doesn't matter. What I think matters more is whether it connects with the players, and I think Hackett's got that for now.
Yeah. And then kind of to your point, Jared, man, I really don't think we're going to have a good idea of what this football team is until mid to late November. And then from the rest of the season on, I really think it's going to take that long for this team to develop to a point where we can say, yes, like now here's what we can expect for the rest of the season and going into next year. Just however that first half of the season looks. I mean, whatever happens, good or bad, I think it's just not a real solid indicator until we get later on. Because as soon as we lose a game, you're going to have people freaking out, right? I mean, it's going to happen. People are just used to us losing, and then everything falls apart. And here they go again. They're going to suck. And, so I just, for people watching, just enjoy the ride the first half of the season. And then we can start getting really, I think, really drill down into what this team is come, especially December timeframe.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, and it really comes down to how much with the fans, with the media, with just Broncos country in general, how much leash do we think Hackett's going to have on this season? I mean, you know what I mean? Like if we get mid-season and we're 500, is there going to be calls for his head, or is it going to be more positive? Talking about, again, having 3 head coaches with no playoff season, or two head coaches with no playoffs, 15 offensive coordinators with no playoffs, and now he's coming in to be both. How much leash do we think Broncos country? Not us. Obviously, we're a little bit more level-headed and kind of like, guys, slow down. Let's see how this plays out. But in general, Broncos country, how much leash with the failures we've had to pass do you think Hackett's going to have if that's the case? Again, we have the weaponry to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I think just based on the conversation we had and how hesitant people are to buy in on the Hackett train, if we're 500 mid-season, you're going to see people already calling we need to move on. This was a bad idea. He's just another coordinator with no head coaching experience. And that's where I'm saying, forget about the first half of the season almost and really analyze the second half before you make a decision. Right. So, But that's where I'm thinking Broncos country in general. Yeah. That halfway point of the season, if we're 500 or worse, man, people are going to be upset, I think.
Yeah, expectations are high, but it's just going to be what it is. That's all. Yeah.
Hey, David, you might have more people on Team Puffball, but I have more people on the inside linebacker bros.
Boom.
Okay. I mean,
LB bros.
I definitely
he's talking about the depth at inside linebacker.
Yes, the depth, Jared, the depth. And I definitely agree with him on the interior defensive line and the offensive line as far as that depth. I think that those two, the depth in those two positions is a lot more likely to be a make or break proposition for the team than inside linebacker depth. A lot more.
At this point, he's doing it in spite of me.
It's not hurting. You just get it's not hurting. Yeah,
it's not hurting.
You just get so
your inside defensive line can't fill all the gaps, David. They can't fill all the holes. You need an inside linebacker that come downhill.
Maybe your inside defensive line can't fill all the gaps, Jared.
Wow.
Mine does just fine. Thank you.
Let's see. We have huge ownership with deep pockets. Wait and see free agency. Yeah, Neil. I think the fact we have an owner now is definitely going to help. And now that we have Russ, if we start doing well, the players are going to want to come to the Broncos. So,
agreed. Absolutely agreed.
I'm ignoring the laughter that's happening over there.
And listen, Rich, I think it's 500 is a more realistic proposition at mid-season than I think most people are willing to admit right now. The idea that we start slow and it takes a little while for this team to gel is still a totally real one with a first-time head coach and a quarterback playing in a new system, everything trying to coalesce together all at once. It's just a lot to ask. But yeah, I think that Rich, I agreed it was about 80% of it, just that inside linebacker depth. And I agree, we're not incredibly deep there, but show me 5 teams in the NFL that run 4 deep at inside linebacker.
Incredibly deep. No,
4
name
deep.
me 2 inside linebackers that are top inside, like even like decent inside linebackers that we have on our squad.
Jonas Griffith and Josie Jewell are decent inside linebackers, Jared. You can give me that look all you want. You can pop those fish eyes back into your skull any second you want now, because it's still true. I'm sorry, it's true. You can be mad about it, but they are.
Hey, Brad. With your comment, I see what you're saying, man. I'm going to say it's not as big a barometer for us as it is. It would be a huge morale boost for Seattle. For us, it would suck in the moment, but we would forget about it pretty quickly. Within a month, we get by week 5 and that game would be whatever. So if something were to happen weird in week 1, knock on wood, Seattle would be just going crazy that they beat Russ and all that stuff. Right. And we'd go, okay, yeah, that sucks. It's kind of embarrassing. We're better than this. And I think they'd learn a lot from it and move on, and it would be in the rearview mirror in no time. So
yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
But here you go. Guys, can we do it?
I mean, duh.
Yes.
We almost beat the Chiefs with Drew Lock's legs last year. And I don't think their defense has done anything to get appreciably better. So yeah, I don't think it's going to be. We definitely can beat the Chiefs. Will they beat the Chiefs? That's a different question.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Once or twice?
Probably once. Start with once and go from there.
Yeah, let's not get greedy.
Yeah.
Let's not get greedy.
Okay, let's not get
greedy.
greedy.
Let's go to the anteater and see
if we win. It's another animal, Jared. It's not even a bird this time. It walks on the land with 4 legs. It's got a big snoot, and it eats ants, and it doesn't count anything.
How do you know it doesn't count the number of ants it eats?
I feel like that's just not a thing that anteaters do. I'm not
What
a biologist.
else do you think it does all day?
I mean, it eats ants. What do you think what is that? All right.
Hey, we are getting close to wrapping up the show, guys. You are awesome. Hey, as we wrap up before we do our closing thoughts, want to remind you guys of all of the awesome content we have for you. We are getting close to the start of the season when we roll out all of our stuff, which will include the Monday Night Orange Weekly After Dark, which will include Jason and myself. 8 p.m. Mountain Time start for that. Then we have Tuesday night, this night, Bourbon Broncos No BS, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. And then when their season starts, we'll also be doing the Backstage Show, which is a YouTube-only show. So make sure you follow our YouTube link. I'll pull that up for you here. Make sure you follow that so you can get the YouTube-only content, which is the Backstage Show as well as the pregame podcast. We do that live on YouTube. And then we also have our post-game podcast. You guys can check those out. iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, wherever you listen to your podcast. And
we
then
might
game
do
day,
those live too. We don't know. We'll just roll the dice on those live too.
You do whatever you want, right?
That's what happens. The post-game
Game
podcast
day?
gives no fucks.
No, they don't. They really don't.
No.
It's the lesser of the 2 podcasts. So that makes sense.
Is it though?
Did you just say the post-game podcast was the lesser of the 2 podcasts? Because I'm pretty sure that's what I heard.
Oh, that's kind of what I heard. I heard
I'm
post.
pretty sure post. Pretty sure we heard post. I mean, Jared, what did you hear?
Pre-sucks.
I heard that the pregame podcast is so much more superior than the postgame podcast.
I also heard that, and it's 2 against 1. So I'm afraid that in this particular case,
here I am, the founder of Orange Weekly, with the 2 guys that do the pregame podcast. I go, it sucks. Okay, I take it back. It doesn't suck. It's actually a really good podcast. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Everyone should listen to it, and then listen to the postgame podcast as well.
Listen to both, and make up your own minds as to who's better.
Exactly. And then game day, as I was saying, we got the tailgate talk happens 1 hour before kickoff, which will include the London game, which is a kickoff time of 7:30 a.m. Mountain Time. And we will be live at 6:30 a.m. for the pregame on that day as well. And then we got our halftime hash. So as soon as halftime starts, we will be live. Go to your phones, go grab some snacks or whatever. Hang out with us, share your thoughts on the first half of the Broncos game, because I don't want to listen to the announcers. I want to hear what you guys have to say. So, tons of stuff. We are ready for this next season. It's going to be a good one. And let's ride.
That's it, baby. Let's ride. All right,
David.
Final thought. Yes. I am going to be looking at a couple of names on Saturday. I am not going to be watching the inside linebackers particularly closely. I am going to be watching a couple of names. Damari Mathis is one I'm going to be watching. It was an up and down game against Buffalo for him. I know he had a couple of good plays, but he also gave up, I think, the first Buffalo touchdown, either the first or the second. He was in coverage on that one and he gave it up. So I want to see if he can really, be kind of a more lockdown guy. Edge rushers like Nick Benito. We'll see if Baron Browning gets any snaps. Jonathan Cooper is fighting for a roster spot.
Yeah, he is.
So yeah, those are at least some names I'll be really focused on as far as this upcoming game. I'll be really excited to see what they can do to prove themselves worthy of that one of those final roster spots.
Like it.
All right, I'm gonna start final roster spots and I'm gonna work my way back to good and bad that I'm seeing with the team. First of all, final roster spots. I think we can cut like 75% of our tight ends that are on this roster, as well as a couple of our running backs. I think those guys are gone. What I'm really going to be interested in is this wide receiver room. I think this wide receiver room looks really, really good, and I'm interested to see who breaks out in this game, who really steps up to get open. Not necessarily getting the ball every time, because you don't know if Josh Johnson or Brett Rippon are going to be able to deliver, but who gets open, who's making the right blocks, who's getting the open spot. And then on defense, I am looking at the inside linebacker because, again, the only person that didn't suit was Josie Jewell, and all the rest of them did not do very well. And I'm afraid of that. I think that inside run that we saw against Buffalo might be a reality if we don't have some sort of aggression in looking at that inside defensive line / inside linebacker to fill those holes. That's the. I will just say that's the bad.
Because you keep saying fill those holes, pal. I'm only
there's
human,
holes.
okay?
There's gaps and there's holes, and then there's gaps are different than holes. Do you need me to explain the difference between gaps and holes?
Let's do that on the next backstage.
On the backstage.
Show.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll talk about it on the backstage.
Ooh.
All right. So, anyways, the good that we're looking at is I like that we're not playing most of our starters that we know what they can do, and I think that's. Talking about things that we thought about from Coach Hackett. Kev, you mentioned it, how we feel about him. I like the idea that we're not playing our starters. I think that gives no chance for injury. It gives them a chance to rest. The fact that they let Russell Wilson even call the playbook in the fourth quarter of the game a couple of games ago, it really gives them a unique experience and a unique look at the game. I love it. I think that piece is really good, and I think that we're going into the season strong, and we're going in healthy. And then just ultimately, Orange Weekly is going to be here. And I love it. I'm stoked.
Yep.
Every single year. We love it. We keep doing it. We do it because we love it. And and if I don't get a contract done by season, I'm out.
Sounds good. Sounds
Great.
good. I have your people talk to my people. How's that sound?
Okay, yeah, sounds good.
No holes on the backstage show. You're close, not that close.
Rich, I'm afraid you might underestimate just how close we are. The relationship, it runs long and deep. Long and deep. Yeah, and there have been holes.
There's always holes.
Yeah, holes and
Holes
the filling of holes and more holes later and
holes wouldn't exist. You know what? Like, we're gonna backstage.
I wanted to see how long this would go on. I was just going to say. Hey, anyway, yeah, seriously, everyone, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate all the support, all the familiar faces, some new faces. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Didn't get to all the questions here. Let's see. Is the average guy going to be on the backstage show? Dan, if
John?
no, it's Dan. No, if we end up doing something like that, we'll let you know, and then we'll get some people on there if that's something we do. But keep an eye out. Maybe we'll try it out. We'll see. Yeah, Justin, right here. We will keep doing it. That's as long as you guys keep watching, we'll be here. So awesome. Hey, just enjoy the third preseason game because it's the last football game of the season, Broncos football game of the season that you can watch without almost having a heart attack. Or getting stressed about or something. That's at least what I'm going to be going for. So
That's
I use it. I lose a year off my life for every Broncos game I watch. Mathematically, according to Jared's Abbott crust,
Yes.
I should have died 12 years ago. So.
All right.
Anyway,
It
hey
makes me
guys,
physically ill.
I know, and that's what's so awesome about it. Okay, hey guys, thanks for watching. Hey, let's end it as we always do on a very strong
Go Broncos.
Go Broncos. There we go. See you guys.
Do what I like, yeah, I do what I like, yeah, I do what I like. Sip and go, sip is right, and I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, cause I know I'm the show. In the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go, yeah, they know I'm a pro.